Good morning, everyone. I hope my voice is audible to everybody. Please switch on your cameras, all of you. Switch on your cameras. As you join the class, please switch on your cameras. Every time I have to tell. Yes. So, in the previous class, we did about the retained earnings, and today we have to do the debentures. That is, we will move towards the external sources of funds. Till now, we were doing the internal source of funds. That is equity shares, preference shares, and all other retained earnings, right shares, ESOP and all. All these are the sources of internal funds for the joint stock company. So I hope that we did about retained earnings and it's absolutely clear to you. Retained earning, in brief, I'm going to just repeat the meaning of that. Rest, I hope you all would have studied about its merits, demerits, and all that. And no, I think something is left. No, yes. Let me finish this and then. Yes. Merits of the company. I think we did it. Merits of the company. Merits of retained earnings from the company point of view, I think we did it. And from the shareholders point of view, we have to do it. And advantages and disadvantages, we have to do it. Okay. So as you know that the retained earning is a method of self-financing and it is also called as plowing back of profits. Means retaining a part of profit and then reinvesting it in the business. That is the most important source of fund for the company because there are no fixed obligations attached with the retained earnings, either for the payment of interest or for the payment of dividend. Now, there are certain advantages to the shareholders. We have already done that there were certain advantages related to the company. Means from the company's point of view. Means it was not compulsory for the company to give the fixed to meet out the fixed obligations because nothing is attached with that. If the firm is having higher profits, they can keep a part of profit and they can reinvest in the business for the better opportunities, for the greater profitable opportunities. Now here there are advantages to the shareholders. There are shareholders, okay? What will be the advantage to the shareholders? Because normally you have seen that the dividend policy depends on the policy of this self-financing, that is retained earnings, declaring that to reinvest again in the business. So the dividend policy depends on this and the retained earnings, that is the self-financing procedure, depends on the dividend policy. You know, if the company is going to retain it, the part of profit, of course, they will not be able to declare a dividend because if they have some investment opportunities, they will not declare dividend. This dividend will not be proposed by the board of directors. The board of directors, they are going to propose for the further investment. So in that situation, the shareholders may not get any dividend. So that can be the disadvantage regarding this. But the shareholders, if we talk about the equity shareholders, those who do not get the dividend at a fixed rate, they can maximize their wealth in the near future because this part of profit that is retained in the business, that is going to be reinvested, and as a result there will be higher and higher earning in the near future, and that is going to increase the profitability of the business. And once the profitability of the business increases, that is going to increase the wealth of the shareholders. So these points can be as the advantages of retained earnings from the shareholders point of view. You can see 3 points are given over there in your book. Shareholders of a company having large reserves and surplus get the benefit of safety of investment. So those who, this shareholders of a company, those who are having large reserves and surplus, they get the benefit of safety of investment. Means that the business, if they are retaining the profit and they are refinancing, that is reinvesting in the business, it means the profitability situation of the business is very, very good. Then only they are retaining a part of it, and then only they are reinvesting it in the business. Okay, and the market value of the shares will also go very, very high in those situations. So of course, and these business concerns, they will not be under the fixed obligation to pay any type of interest or dividend on this retained earnings. So that is also going to bring the company that bring a suitable situation for the company, and that is going to have a safety of investment for the shareholders. Then shareholders will receive regular dividend as deficiency of 1 year will be made good out of the undistributed profit of previous years. You have seen, no, that there are cumulative preference shareholders, those whose dividend, if it is not distributed, that will be distributed in the other coming years when there will be profit. Okay, so here you can see that shareholders will receive regular dividends as deficiency of 1 year will be made good out of the undistributed profit of the previous years. Now, why these things are said? Because here reinvesting retained earnings means profitability situation is there in the business organization. Business is making profit, and once the business is making profit, so the preference shareholders, that is the cumulative preference shareholders, of course they will get the dividend. Okay, so that is also one of the advantages that is attached with the preference shareholders. At the same time, you will see that these points can be the disadvantage also. Plowing back of profits will add to the profitability and earning capacity of the company. As I told you, shareholders will benefit from the prosperity of the company. Already I have told you this point, that the plowing back of profit will add means whenever the profit that is retained, it is reinvested in the business. Of course, the business is going to reinvest only in if the business finds profitable opportunities in the near future. So if they are reinvesting in those profitable opportunities, of course, the business is going to increase the profit level in the coming years. So in due to that situation, the profitability situation of the company will increase, and that is going to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. In the coming years, the wealth of the shareholders will be maximized, because as the company is earning goodwill, profit, the company will earn more and more goodwill and reputation, because the market value of the shares will go high. And as any company, if they use their retained earnings, it means their profitability situation is very, very good. Then only they are using retained earnings as a source of finance. Okay, the company which is using, because the company has to satisfy the shareholders also, the company has to satisfy the other outsiders also. So unless and until the company earns profit, because you know what is the what is the priority that is given over there under the company, that is whenever the company is going to earn profit, first of all the company is going to pay the fixed obligations. So it means if the company is having a retained earning and they are reinvesting that in the business, it means they have completed all their fixed obligations. They have paid all their fixed obligations, means all interest and all external, all those dues are clear, and then only they are retaining a part of profit as a retained earning, and then only they are reinvesting. It means the company is making the higher profit. And in that situation, when the company is making higher profit, that is going to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. And the prosperity, the name, fame, goodwill of the company, that is going to increase the market value of the shares, and that is going to help the investors and all the shareholders. So I hope these points are absolutely clear to you. Advantages to the shareholders. Now advantages to the society. See, corporate savings accelerate the rate of capital formation in the country. Market value of the shares will go high, as I have told you, that companies making profit, then only they are using these type of retained earning as an internal source of funds. It's not easy for every firm, because normally there are so many fixed obligations attached with the company that they are not able to use those funds as a retained earnings. Okay, because you know that is the cheapest source of fund, because no cost is involved in issue, no fixed obligations. So that is the most cheapest source of fund, most appropriate source of fund for the company. But it's not very easy. Unless and until the company earns enough profits, they cannot use these retained earnings as a source of fund. First of all, they have to meet out all those external obligations, and then only they can retain the profit and they can reinvest in the business. So if it is so, and if it is done by the business organization, and that is accepted by all the internal and external investors, that is going to help in accelerating the rate of capital formation in the country. You know how? Because the corporate saving accelerate. Here, if they are saving, they will invest. If they will invest, so the opportunities will increase for the people, because suppose if only one type of product was produced by a company, now they are using these retained earnings as a source of finance, and they are engaged in producing one more type of products. So they will employ some more people, isn't it? So the income level of the people will increase, and when the income level of people will increase, the saving will also increase. When saving will increase, the investment will also increase, and that will lead to the capital formation. So per capita income and all that will increase. So it is all because of this, that is retained earnings. Then surplus makes the economy more stable. The rate of corporate failure is reduced due to greater capacity of enterprises to absorb depression and other crises. If a company is using retained earning as a source of finance, it means their profitability situation is very, very good. And that will help the business concerns in meeting out all those contingencies, depression situation, emergency situation. Like you see, this situation, everybody is aware of this situation, COVID-19. Everybody is aware. You know how much it has affected all the industrial sectors, isn't it? Everybody knows. What about the small firms, those who were making only normal profits? The firms, those who were making only normal profits, now they are closed, because now they don't have, at that time they were not having enough funds. They were totally dependent on the sale, and sale was almost nil during those lockdown periods. But what about the other companies? If you see, was there any effect on Reliance Industries? Was there any effect on Tata Group of Industries, Thapan Group of Industries, all these industries, Wipro company? All they are, because they have enough profit to meet out these contingencies. They have so many branches, so many options, that if the loss in one business, they can compensate it with the other business. So normally the corporate sectors, those who are well established, they have name, fame, goodwill, and their profitability situation is very, very good. They will be able to survive in this competitive environment, or you can say in this crisis, in this uncertainty situation, isn't it? Now you must have seen, and why this is so. if you have studied in accounts, I don't know whether you have studied or not, there was one concept, there are certain accounting principles. And you know, the business is based on those principles. There was one accounting principle of conservatism. I don't know whether you have studied or not, principles are there. And these principles are taught in the form of concepts and conventions. Okay, in the beginning of your chapters, I think in class 11, you would have studied. I don't know whether you have studied or not. If you have the book, you turn the page and you see, you'll find that there is a principle of conservatism. We have 9 concepts and 4 conventions. These are the principles on which the total accounting is based. Okay, so there is one principle of conservatism which says that please conserve a specific amount every year, and you assume that there will be loss in the near future. Then only you are going to conserve. When you will conserve, conserve means to save. So when we are going to save, when we have a negative thought that, oh, maybe there can be a loss. Okay, so the principle has the positive thought also, and one side the negative thought also. Means when the business will think that, oh, we may have a loss in the near future, we may face these types of contingencies, unforced circumstances can come in the near future. So for that, if they will think about that, then only they are going to save. Okay, so the principle of conservatism says that please save a specific amount so that you can meet the contingencies in the near future. So on that basis, the companies, they keep on keeping a specific amount so that they can meet the contingencies. Okay, so it is just on that basis. So these companies, they keep these amounts because they are making enough profit, and they're conserving these specific amounts also so that they can meet out these contingencies. So it's not only that they are helping their own business, but they are also helping the society and community also. Okay, donating a lot of money to the hospitals, lot of facilities to the hospitals, to the people, to the society, to the community. All these they are doing, no? So they are meeting all these contingencies with their reserves, whatever they have. Then you can see companies can adopt modernization and rationalization schemes. These add to industrial productivity and flexibility. With more retained earnings, more investment will be there. When more investment will be there, so of course that is going to increase, that will lead to the expansion of the industrial areas and industrial sectors. There will be enhancement and expansion of industries, and that will help in providing the employment opportunities, increasing the income level, increasing the standard of living of the people, providing the better commodities to the consumers. So all these things will be there that will help in increasing the industrial productivity and flexibility. Then the fourth one is business enterprises can produce better quality goods at lower cost. Society at large would be beneficiary of an increased standard of living. As I told you, these points are interrelated. Business enterprises can produce better quality goods at lower cost. How that is possible? With the reserves, which they, suppose if retained earnings are reinvested in the business, there will be no fixed obligations. Okay, so the amount of capital that is invested, and it is just due to the increased profit. So the business organization, they can hire better technologies, better machines and better equipments. They can import all these so that they can have the maximum production at minimum cost. Now the consumers will get the product at lower price, isn't it? So that is going to help a lot to the society and community. So these things are interrelated. So you can see how this retained earning is very, very helpful to the society, to the shareholders, to the company. Now, the demerits. Demerits are also attached. If you have seen so many merits, now there are certain demerits also. Let us go through all these demerits. There are 7 demerits which are mentioned over here. The management of a company may not always use the retained earnings in the best interest of the shareholders. Always the case will be there. Means the investment opportunities, the investment opportunities of the business. They may have investment opportunities, but those investment opportunities, if there is no proper planning and control, it requires a lot of planning and control over the investment opportunities. A lot of methods are adopted that you will study in the higher classes. You know, to make an investment, there are so many tools like urgency method, payback period method, internal rate of return method, present value method, net present value method. All these are the methods, tools. You will study all these in financial management when you will go for your higher classes. Then you will study all these. These are the tools. It's not very easy. And if there will be any mistake in any of these techniques, so the investment may go wrong. And once there will be a wrong investment, wrong decisions will be taken by the organization, that is not going to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. Okay, so that can be, if the investment is not properly done, so that is not going to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. It will have the vice versa effect. Then the next is, too much dependence on retained earnings may tempt the management to issue bonus shares to the equity shareholders. Frequent capitalization of profit may result in overcapitalization. Too much dependent on retained earnings may lead to that management to issue bonus shares. If you remember, why bonus shares are issued? It is a method of capitalization of undistributed profit. Suppose every time the retained earnings, that is, the company start retaining its earning so that they can invest. If every year the higher amount of profit that will be retained and there will be no investment opportunities, they are not making proper investment, or there are no investment opportunities. So what will be the situation? There will be large undistributed profit, isn't it? The amount of undistributed profit that will increase. And you know, if it will increase, then what is going to happen? Then it will lead to a situation of overcapitalization. Overcapitalization means investment is more, but return is less. Investment is more, but the return is, that is, less than the normal rate of. Okay, so that is the situation of overcapitalization. So if every year the company is retaining a part of profit as a retained earnings, but they do not have the investment opportunities, in that situation, the amount of undistributed profit that will increase, and that will lead to the distribution of bonus shares to the, they will be forced, because you know bonus shares are what? That is the capitalization of undistributed profit. You have already done. Okay, and that can lead to the situation of overcapitalization also, because it will be more investment and less rate of return. So this can also be the situation that can be faced. Then the practice of plowing back of profit may be used to manipulate share prices on the stock exchange. Vested interest may speculate in the company's shares to deceive genuine and uninformed investors. Practice of plowing back of profit may result in result in the increase in the manipulation of share prices on the stock exchange. Now, how this practice of plowing back of profits may be used to manipulate means reserves are collected. The internal department of the organization, they know about that they have the enough profit. They have the enough profit, and with this enough profit, they have all the internal informations, so they can issue, they can purchase these shares. They can purchase the shares. Okay. And once they are going to purchase the shares, they can manipulate the prices at the stock exchange with that, because by the method of purchasing and selling the shares at the market value, the sorry, purchasing the shares or selling the shares at the stock exchange, that helps in increasing or decreasing the prices of the shares. You must have seen that normally if a lot of people they start selling their shares, it means why they are selling. Is there any problem? Means in the near future, the prices of those shares are going to be very, very high. You must have heard in bear and bull mentality. You must have seen in the stock exchange. So, and if a lot of people they are purchasing those shares, they started purchasing those shares. So, if a lot of people they are purchasing a large number of shares, it means in the near future the prices of the shares are going to be very, very low. That is why today they are purchasing. So these types of situations, they can manipulate the prices with those retained amount, those reserves, they can utilize for manipulating the prices at the stock exchange by taking a decision to purchase or sell the shares. Because they are in the internal part of the management, they know what are the announcements which are made by the company, and they can make these types of, they can manipulate the prices of the shares. Then heavy reinvestment of earnings year after year may cause dissatisfaction among the shareholders as they get low dividend. We have already discussed that, because low dividend, while low dividend, if part of the profit that will be retained and that will be reinvested in the business. So of course, I have already told you that the dividend policy depends on the retained earnings policy, that how much profit that is going to be retained by the organization. So here, if more and more profit that will be retained and that will be reinvested in the business, so that is not in those situations, the company will not be able to declare dividend for the shareholders, or they will declare low dividend to the shareholders. In that situation, that may have the dissatisfaction among the shareholders. Normally, if I talk about the preference shareholders, because they get the dividend first before the equity shareholders, and that too they get the dividend at a fixed rate. So there will be more dissatisfaction among the preference shareholders. Then fifth one is indiscriminate use of retained earnings may result in monopoly and concentration of economic power in few hands. Indiscriminate use of retained earnings may result in monopoly and concentration of economic power in few hands. Here it is talking about that how these retained earnings are used, where it is used, how it is used, because this is a part of profit, and normally it is thought that it should be used for the welfare of the investors, for the welfare of the society. You have seen over here. But the business concerns, they can use it for their own benefit, and they can practice the concentration of economic power in few hands, and they can create a monopoly situation, and they can just provide the adverse effect to the society and community. They can manipulate the things, as you have seen, that they can manipulate the share prices, because they have enough money with them, they have enough reserves, they are free to use those reserves, so they can manipulate the share prices. So likewise, they may take some other decisions which can be in their own benefit, and they can use it only for their own benefit, own purposes, to fulfill their own purposes. So that is going to have an adverse effect on the society and community in that situation. So there can be a monopoly situation, because they have a lot of money, they can have a lot of investment products like that, and they can try to use that funds in normally the situations are like, I can explain you, like suppose if the firm is having a large profit, So even they will be ready to sell the products at below the cost of production, because whatever the loss will be incurred, they can compensate it with the reserves which they are having. Now what is going to happen? The other companies which are there, in the market, they will they will they will have to quit. They will be forced to quit out, because if one company is selling the products at below the cost of production, so all the consumers, they will be happy to purchase those products. Nobody will go to other companies products, isn't it? Suppose if you are getting one toothpaste at a very lower cost, okay, suppose Colgate is there, that company started charging very low price for the product, so everybody will purchase. Why to pay higher price for other toothpaste? Why to pay? So because they are selling below the cost of production, and that is branded company, so everybody has got the trust also. Now what is going to happen? The other companies, they will be forced to quit out. Now this company will be alone in the market. After some time, when all the companies will be forced to be out of the market, this company will maintain their position because they have enough profit. They will compensate their loss with that profit. Now what they will do? Now they are alone. They can do anything. This is called as monopoly situation. Now they will charge higher price, and they will recover all the amounts from the consumers. Now the consumers will have no choice. In the beginning, they got that product at a very low price, so the consumers, they started, that is, they took the advantage of the habits of the normal habits of the consumers, because normally we, the consumers, we are in the habit of purchasing the products, good branded products at low price. Every consumer, if we are getting the branded products, good products at low price, why we are going to pay higher price to the other companies? So just they took the advantage of this behavior, consumer behavior. You will study these things in higher classes about consumer behavior also. This is one subject. Okay, so these companies, they try to take advantage. Here it is given as 1 point, but there are many things attached with that. So it is not required for you to give a very this deep explanation in that, but just for understanding, I have told you these things. Okay, so this is the method that the company can have the monopoly situation, and they can have the concentration of economic power in few hands, means few sellers, like oligopoly situation, duopoly situation, only 2 sellers. They will combine with each other, and they will try to together, they will manipulate the prices, and they will charge higher prices from the consumers, and they will lead. So these situations can arise due to these retained earnings. Then it is an unstable source of profit, may not retain the same in the future years. Unstable because if there will be profit in the near future, then only the part of that profit can be retained. If there will be no profit, then profit will not be retained. And then it is 7th one, plowing back of profits may lead to unbalanced industrial growth, because profits which might have been invested outside in other industries are reinvested in the same industry. The natural growth of the capital market is hindered. So here you can say that it may lead to unbalanced industrial growth, because the profit which might have been invested outside, means outside the country, in other industries, are invested in the same industry. Suppose we are investing in that particular industry, and that outside the country, and that industry is investing again in that particular country only, in that particular industry only. So that is of no use. It will be a triangle. Okay, and the company which is investing, they will invest keeping in mind that we are investing in the most profitable opportunities. And in turn, those companies, suppose company A is investing in company B, okay, and A and C are all together, A, C, D and all they are together, but company B is outside. and A is investing in company B, and again company B is investing in company C, D. So what will be the source? What will be the income level? It will be low only. Okay. And what was the aim of company A to invest in company B and earn a higher rate of return? That will, what is the procedure? Company A invest in company B, B invest in C, C invest in E. Like that, the investment keep on moving ahead and they earn out of each other. Okay, this is the procedure. Like suppose we invest in the bank, we keep our money in the bank, then bank invest in the share market, then from the share market, these companies, they invest in other international market, and then we get a return. Okay, so if this procedure is not properly done, so that can have a lower rate of return that will not be good for the company. So here the natural growth of capital market is hindered. Over here it is talking about what is the natural procedure in the capital market that will not be followed. So you have seen that along with so many advantages, these retained earnings have several disadvantages also. So the points are given in the book. Lot of explanations are not required. Please remember these points. Okay. And try to understand these retained earnings. It's a small topic and normally it can be asked that what is retained earnings? Give 2 merits and 2 demerits. So these points you have to remember and you will write these points. A lot of explanations will not be required because it is a very small topic. Okay. Normally 3 marks, 2 marks questions are only asked from this topic. Okay. I have not seen that since 4 years I'm teaching, but I have not seen that this question has been asked in 4 marks or 5 marks question. Not even in 3 marks I have seen. Okay, so normally it is asked in 2 marks because it is a small topic attached with merits and demerits. So whatever the points which are given, please remember these points. So try to read all these points. If you have any problem in any of the point, we can discuss it. Then the next topic that we are going to discuss over here, that is debentures. So little bit introduction I'm giving you. Already the time is up. So we will do that in the next lecture. Have you all heard of debentures? All these have switched off their cameras. Samriddhi Singh, Tashu Sinha, Agrata, all are feeling sleepy. Only 14 students have joined. In this way, we will not be able to, means the purpose behind this online classes will not be fulfilled. Hardly, normally these things are happening. 10, 11, 15, not more than 15 students are joining in the online classes. That too at 6:30. We are also taking pain to come at 6:30. You are sitting at home, but you cannot join the class. We have to come here in the school at 6:30 to teach you all. We are also taking pain, no? And that NLP that is not working properly, on that day it was not working properly. That is why I thought to take the class 4th period with that NLP. But I thought that again, if the same problem will be there, here these types of problems we are not facing through Zoom. So that is why I thought that to take at 6:30. If that is more preferable for you, so I will take with that NLP only. So please be sincere and try to attend the class. Okay. Okay. I'm going to end up the class. In the next class, we will discuss about the debentures.